Well, hello. It has certainly been a while, but I am so happy and so excited to be back for season 2 of the Light Path podcast. Oh, what a year 2023 was. And it's so refreshing to be in 2024 to see what's going to unfold for everyone, obviously also personally for me, but to also get back into this podcast. I have missed it. I have missed you. I have missed connecting in this way and thinking out loud, learning out loud, and definitely missed the feedback, the comments, the input that you as the listener have on this podcast. So in this episode, the very first episode of season 2, I'm going to kick it off with just a life update personally for me, a business life update, in terms of what's going on with the Light Path Collective, what has been transpiring, and a little insight of perhaps what is to come in 2024. So first up, I just want to say a huge thank you to all of you that joined us over the summer series of the Light Path podcast. Honestly, I just missed podcasting, and I really wanted to connect with you as we transitioned from 2023 into 2024. It's always a tricky period. I did a podcast episode on that in 2022 about navigating through the trickiness of the holidays, because although they are, for many, a very joyous time, even if they are a joyous time for you, sometimes that they can hold pockets of challenge. And change, as you know, is one of those things that when we learn to navigate it and really harness the energy of change and flow with it and kind of make change our master instead of change mastering us, we're so much better equipped. So that is why I put together 4 meditations for you to use over that end of year and new year period to help you really close chapters, but then also expand and open them up, and to infuse this next 12 months with so much of your essence and your authenticity, your hope, and really just a higher vibration. So 2023, it was not the year that we were expecting. I mean, coming off of that 2.5 years of COVID, and then kind of reestablishing ourselves in the world, or back to, in inverted commas, normal, although obviously nothing is normal. We have been irrevocably changed by that occurred. And we're kind of all navigating the new and what that means for us. For some of us, me included, I actually was starting the new as COVID began when I started the Light Path Collective. I went full time into this work. So for me, it was all the change all at once. For some people, it was pretty relatively smooth sailing during COVID. And now these last year and the year before has been really tough, because we're really having to implement a lot of what we learned, what we went through, and integrate the newness that we are, because we've come out of a very transformative and transformational period. As you know, if you've listened to me for a while, I do not set New Year's resolutions, intentions perhaps, but as you know, I am a goddess of the moon. I set my intentions at every new moon anyway, so I do that 13 times a year. So January 1 isn't necessarily a huge moment for me, because I'm constantly regenerating, releasing like we do on New Year's or at the end of the year, and setting intentions like we do at the start of the year. So for me, that's a practice, and I know many of you are on the Moon membership with me, so you have adopted that practice as part of just like your spiritual ritualization, your self-care habit and ritual. And the more you do it, the more easy it becomes, and it's just part of your month. That roughly twice a month, we stop, we reflect, we release at a full moon or set intentions at a new moon. But what I do at each calendar year, I kind of like to pick a theme. So I have done a podcast episode on this, but in 2022, I had a very busy and expansive year, and I loved every second of it, and I was very, very grateful for it. I was, however, I would argue, a little burnt out. And so I decided that 2023 for me was going to be the year of slow. That was going to be my theme for the year. I wanted to make sure that I was very much looking after myself and my energy, that I was resting, I was restorative, so that I could show up to my work in my biggest capacity to hold you and everything else that has gone on and that will be to come in the business. What I didn't consider is that I made that word slow my word for the year, and it penetrated every aspect of my life. And I think 2023 stumped a lot of us. Economically, it's stunting the whole world. Politically, it is confronting, and it just seems unsettled. As a result, my year was slow. It was very different to the last few years, and it allowed me a lot of space, which is fantastic. It allowed me a lot of scope to tap into that part of me that I needed to nurture and to heal and to rest. And so I was able then to also, as a result of that, tap into a lot of my expansion and creativity. I really took it upon myself in 2023 to consider very carefully and be an investigative reporter into my own feminine energy. So I did a lot of work on the divine feminine. Some of that work has filtered in through the Light Path Collective already, but much more is to come. I sit in my feminine energy anyway by working with the moon. It is one of the greatest things that you can do to tap into your feminine energy. So whenever someone asks me, how do I do that? We're so programmed to be in our masculine energy. I'm like, start with the moon, start with cycles, start with intuition, start with feeling energy, start with intending, start with letting go and healing and all those things. So that was my year, and it was slow. Work was slow. Anything that I kind of tried to start, it literally felt like I was trudging through mud. At times, my motivation was very low, and my initiative, the get up and go that I have always had, was really waning. At the time, throughout 2023, that caused a lot of friction within me and a lot of frustration. It's nice to now be sitting in 2024 to reflect back and to think, wow, how necessary was all that? It did give me so much space. It taught me lessons that I will hold with me for the rest of my life. And it set me through personal development courses in terms of myself that I hope I've graduated from, and I am able to integrate the lessons because I never want to go through a lot of the challenges that I went through that year. And so when I set the intention of the word slow, I wasn't expecting that. I was thinking like everything would stay the same, but I would be more chilled. And it's so funny, even though I do this work, I teach this work, you can slip up so easily. This is why intention is so important. So towards the end of last year, I actually announced it, I think on a post on Instagram or maybe in the Moon membership, where I said, I'm not waiting until 2024 to change my word, to change my vibe, to change my overall theme or intention, because this is driving me crazy. And it was back then I picked my theme for 2024. And the theme that I have settled on that feels so aligned for me and so right is the essence of love. And that seems like quite obvious, right? That anything that we do, anything that we put out there, anytime I sit with a client, anytime hopefully I'm sitting with myself, I'm doing so in pure love. But if I'm really honest with myself, especially when it comes to myself, not so much my work, but when it comes to myself, am I really doing that? Am I really welcoming love in all its forms? Am I someone that can receive the love in all the forms that I maybe desire? Can I be a vibrational match to the types of love and connection with friends, colleagues, clients, lovers, whoever it is? Am I a vibrational match for what I picture or desire for myself? And so this year, my call to arms, my deepest intention is that I walk through it with a depth of love that is so profound. It will be me continuing personally to work on my divine feminine. And for me, that means actually really grounding down. I recently had an amazing session with a shaman who will be appearing on the podcast in series 2. I cannot wait for you to meet him and hear his wisdom. And we talked a lot about how, especially women, we have been really working hard collectively and individually in recent eras, really looking at our connection to our spirituality. So we've been honing in on our intuition. We've been looking at alignment. We've been heart-centered. We've been trying to speak our truths that come from that heart. We sit in meditation, we connect, and obviously I do that all the time. I'm very, very, very connected to the, let's just say heavens, like up there, up in the sky. Where I've missed the boat personally is not being connected to our beautiful and strong Mother Earth. Collectively, we have forgotten her, and many are coming back into her good graces by purely surrendering to her and saying, I choose you. So I'm working very much on the lower half of my body. So we're from the solar plexus, the heart chakra, the throat, the third eye, and the crown up is all about the ethers. Then so down we go from starting at the solar plexus, the sacral, and then the base chakra. So that is what I am working on this year, really grounding in my feminine. So I can't wait to share with you as I go along this journey all the things that I'm learning. And who knows if this is a calling that I feel as part of this, or it is something that you ask for. I will definitely hold space for you and teach that. So 2024, the year of love. But I am bringing some beautiful love from 2023 into 2024. Let me catch you up with the Light Path. So the Light Path Collective grew so much in 2023. It was one of those achievements that I'm really proud of. I'm so proud of me. I'm so proud of our team of women on the Light Path Collective who are just the most amazing, impactful, wise, humbled women that I've ever met. And so, as you know, when I went out into the Light Path Collective and we kind of started, I did start with Laura, our beautiful human design expert. I know a lot of you have worked with her over 2023, and I'm very pleased. We have announced this on social media, but I'm very, very pleased to announce that Laura is actually full-time in her work now. So she's available to us full-time to book in with her. She does work a lot with individuals and with parents and things like that, like she does on the Light Path. But if you're interested in her work around becoming an amazing leader or manager of people through the vehicle of human design, then she does offer that too. So reach out to her. And a lot of you also work with our beautiful Claire working with tarot and astrology. I'm really excited for the 2024 that Claire has got coming up personally within her work, the expansion and the things that she's going to offer us here on the Light Path Collective, really taking on that role of leader, teacher to help us really connect in with those parts of ourselves that I just talked about before, in terms of the ethers, so the upper body part of that intuition and that mysticism. Many of you have had readings with her and done astrology with her, so I know that you'll continue to reach out for her guidance and encouragement and support. We also have Alana. So again, Alana's made some huge changes in her professional and personal life, and she's offering quantum healing hypnosis. We launched that later part of 2023. It's a really amazing opportunity to do some very deep but very quick kind of timeline jumping work, subconscious reprogramming, which is what hypnosis is all about. Alana hosted such a beautiful masterclass. It was free, where we did a group hypnosis in order to navigate uncertainty in 2023. So to be sure that you're not missing out on any event that we host, free or paid, make sure you are a subscriber at the Light Path Collective. If you're not, just head to the website, and literally after 2 seconds, once you hit that homepage, a subscriber box will pop up. Pop your email in there. And we'll always be letting you know when we have stuff on, because often we get contacted afterwards saying, I didn't know that was on. So yes, we put it all over socials, but the algorithm, you don't necessarily get everything that we put out. So the newsletter is a great way, and we always have special offers in there, and you guys will know things first through there. Then, oh gosh, I'm trying to think now. There's so much going on in my head. One of the most beautiful things that happened during 2023, I'm trying to think of my years now, they're escaping me. So much has happened. Like, it felt slow, but now reflecting on it, and as we reflected on it in that summer series of the podcast, I was like, actually, a lot did happen. Maybe I was just being a bit impatient. The beautiful Natalie, our money mentor. Now, Natalie is someone I personally call on all the time. As you have heard me say many, many times, love and money is the same energy. So however money is dancing through to within our lives is going to be a very big barometer for where we need healing or where we are in terms of our evolving. If you've never worked with a money mentor before, I highly suggest that you do so. She is an extremely experienced financial holistic CFO. She, I guess as part of her day job, works with businesses and looks at their holistic approach to money. So it's not just about balance sheets or input over output or whatever the accountant terms are, because she is an accountant. It's actually about the energy of the business. So if you have a small business and you're at that level where you're ready to scale, reach out to her. She's the perfect person to work with you through that. Personally, she's worked with me a lot on my money blocks, and that essentially is the work that she does offer on the Light Path Collective. So working through money blocks will change your life. I cannot stress that enough. So if you're someone that has some money goals this year and you're wanting to dive into them, reach out to her, let her sit with you. And sometimes it's really difficult to look at, but she's there holding your hand all the way. I really highly suggest you do that. The last trip we had in 2023 was inviting Cassie onto the Light Path Collective as a practitioner. Cassie has done events for us in the past. I've begged her to do cacao ceremonies in person and online for the Light Path Collective. And finally, I just got brave enough to ask her and said, I would love the opportunity for our community to be able to have a cacao ceremony whenever they felt that they need it, to connect into their hearts, that feminine energy again, to really expand and be in that heart coherent state. I have done one-on-one private cacao ceremonies with Cassie, and one of our clients, one of our beautiful Reiki masters, that happened too this year. Let me get to that. But one of our beautiful Reiki master students, she said to me, oh my gosh, I've done cacao ceremonies, but Cassie is something else. And I'm like, I know. I only get you guys the best. She is, you just have to experience it. I can't put it into words. It is so special. It is so beautiful. It is such a treat to do it. So treat yourself this year with a special cacao ceremony with her, or you can get a small group together and then you obviously get a different rate. It's a group rate, but you can sit and she just dials in. It's online and you can sit together and make your cacao and have a beautiful cacao ceremony. I do have some practitioners joining and expanding the family even more, but we're not going to discuss that now. You'll just have to stay tuned throughout 2024. But one of the big achievements that we did have was I had three beautiful women graduate their Reiki masters. So as you know, Reiki is energy healing. It's a lineage. You learn it. It is passed on through a lineage. It's very traditional. It is very beautiful. It is extremely sacred, and I say I don't play favorites with my work, but honestly, I love doing readings and I especially love mentoring, but oh my gosh, there's something about laying hands on and healing that is just so precious and reverent for me. Like, it's the most holy thing I think that I do for another. So to graduate to master's level, they had to go through their Reiki 1 training, Reiki 2 training, their Reiki 3 advanced training, and then their master training. So I was so honored and humbled. And as I was preparing their final teachings, I reached out to my teachers and in floods of tears, because it is just so precious to me, and thanking them for the gift that they passed on to me, and in turn they were just so happy that I was passing it on to someone else. It really makes me tear up. It's so precious to me. So our beautiful Reiki masters, one of them happens to be Claire. So, if Claire's offering energy healing as part of her services on the Light Path, that's why, because she's now a Reiki master. Beautiful Katrina, just the most beautiful member of our community. I just adore that woman endlessly. And if you happen to be listening to this podcast and you are in Ireland, I am very, very pleased to treat you with a Reiki master who I have trained. Roisin is going back to Dublin to be a Reiki practitioner. That is what she's going to do. She's going to set up her practice in Dublin. So if you would like to connect with her in person, you now have someone that is direct from the Light Path Collective who can offer you energy healing in Dublin. I think she'll be based. So reach out. I will pass on her details, no problem. And we'll also feature on socials and things like that. So actually, it was a slow year, but a lot happened. And I think that reflection really allowed me to acknowledge that and to be very grateful for all the stuff that did happen. But let me play it forward. Let me tell you what's coming up. So, the Light Path Collective has expanded, and I will be also launching officially kirstenleo.com. This is a side for me because I am so in love with two things. One, the process of mentoring, but two, the act of empowerment of women at very different stages of their life, but women who are ready to take it up a notch, to really take responsibility for themselves and their lives, and to create their dreams in opportunities to sit with group mentoring. So stay tuned again. I will be telling you all about that when that launches in its full glory. We're almost there. But the big exciting thing, you may have heard it in the intro to this episode where I said that the Light Path podcast is proudly brought to you by the Light Path Collective and the Ritual Emporium. So it was back in COVID 2020, actually. I went for a walk in Centennial Park with my beautiful friend, Michaela, and we sat on the hill and I said to her, I've had this niggling thought, Michaela. I've had this idea. I want to launch an online retail store called the Ritual Emporium, where I'm just able to sell products that I personally use in my own personal development and spiritual rituals and provide that to people. I am constantly forever being asked, where do you get this? Where do you get that? Where could I find that? And I had this idea and I said that to her and she said, oh my gosh, of course, why are you not doing that? Alongside of that, I didn't tell Michaela at the time, but I had also started to study. And I'd started to study something that I really highly value and that I have used as a resource for healing personally since I began my deep dive into spirituality when I was 30. I was introduced to this by my kinesiologist at the time, and I have consistently used this form of healing since then. So we're going on 14 years now. So do the math. That's how old I am. And that is Australian bush flower essences. So this is vibrational medicine that you take orally, and it really works deeply on your energy body to help heal, to soothe. And when it is soothed, when we come back into a state of homeostasis within our vibrational energetic body, that's when we can get on with the work of expanding and evolving and really doing the work of healing. So I had this idea for this online retail store, and I was studying Australian bushflower essences. Now, I think if you've listened to me or followed me for a while, you will know I'm a woman of action. I like to get in there and achieve a goal and get it done. So you could imagine my frustration that it took until 2023 for me to finish my study with high distinctions, by the way. Am I allowed to brag? It's my platform, so I guess I'm allowed to brag a little, right? But I was really proud of myself not because I had high distinctions, I was just really proud of myself that how much I adored the study and the research and applying that in my assignments, and how much I value it was reflected back in the value that I got back. So I was just really pleased. It's just one of those signs that, yep, this is the right avenue. Not that I didn't think it was right, but it's just one of those extra little ticks of approval from the heavens. And the retail store, although I had the idea, it takes a long time to brand, to create the technology around it, to source the products, to brand the products. I mean, it is a process, a 3-year process, it turned out. So I am so proud to bring you the Ritual Emporium. It is an online store of very, very carefully curated, hand-picked by me products that will help you in all your daily, day-to-day rituals and self-care practices. At the moment, my product line is very small, but it will expand as time goes on. The reason why I'm saying it is actually this podcast is brought to you by the Ritual Emporium is a really practical one. I love this podcast. I think you get the vibe that I love this podcast. I love connecting with you this way, but it costs. It costs me a lot of time. It costs me a lot of workload to get it out. This is not a whinge. I'm just stating facts here. I love it, so I do it, but it costs a lot. And so having the Ritual Emporium there, whatever money I'm able to make from the Ritual Emporium, it literally feeds into this podcast to help keep it going. The practical monetary costs of the technology, everything that I do to get it out, it costs money to host it. It costs money to make the promo clips to get it out there. All of that, the Ritual Emporium profits will actually just be fed back into this podcast to help it keep going. So as we do on the collective, just keeping it in the family. So if you purchase from the Ritual Emporium, know that is where your money is going. It is going to help sustain this opportunity for us to connect this way. And so in advance, I really want to say a deep thank you for that. And the bushflower essences will be a huge product line on that. Another reason why I didn't launch the Ritual Emporium, because I wanted to finish studying, because I knew I wanted to create bushflower essences specifically for the collective. After running this collective for now for a bit over 4 years, I know what people are going through and I hear what you need because I'm listening to you constantly all the time. And the bigger the collective gets with all our practitioners, they're telling me what we're dealing with and what people are really needing and maybe where they're misunderstanding or just needing that extra support. So I have launched I've created 4 bushflower essences just for you guys. I'm actually going to do a whole podcast on bushflower essences because I think it's something that a lot of people don't know a lot about, whether it's just because we don't really know about them or because you've never used them before. So I will be doing an educational piece on that. But if you want to check them out, head to the ritualemporium.com. The 4 tinctures or healing substances are there, and each for a specific intention inspired by you. Whew. So I think we're caught up. There's probably heaps more that I have totally forgotten to tell you now, but I just wanted to, there is something I remember. The format of the podcast. So last year I decided to do 2 episodes a week, and one was just with me and one was with a guest. And I loved that format. It was a lot of work, but I loved that format, and I got to connect with so many amazing people to have really great conversations with them. And I hope that they really helped you. This year, just for fun, I'm mixing it up. I don't know if it'll stay in this format. Let's just be fluid and easygoing with it. But I'm thinking I'm going to cut back. I'm going to do 1 episode a week, dropping every Monday. It's either going to be me or me and a guest. Like it's me this week. Next week, Claire will be on talking all about the astrology of 2024. So it won't necessarily be in that rigid format that I had in 2023 of me on a Monday, a guest on a Thursday. I'm just going to drop an episode every Monday. We'll see how we go. If we don't like that format, if you don't like that format, let me know. I'm totally open. If you prefer that format, let me know. I'm totally open. Just thought I'd switch it up, try something a little different. But ultimately, my goal is to grow this platform. And it's not to grow this platform because I feel like I would desire a big platform. It is my intention to grow the platform because I believe in what we're doing. I believe in you that is listening. I believe that in these conversations, in this openness, in this collective that you are a part of, we are helping each other in so many ways. So to all of you that have rated us, subscribed to the podcast wherever you listen to your podcast, left a written review, shared episodes with people that you know might resonate with it. You might have heard something in one episode, shared it with a friend so that they have access to this information, this form of healing, opening their mind to this form of conversation. I want to, from the bottom of my heart, say a deep thank you. And a really honest ask is that you continue to do so. The more ears we get on this, yes, the bigger the community gets, and the bigger the community gets, the more we have to connect with. And the more people ultimately we can help and be part of their light as they walk their paths as well. So here is to an amazing season 2 of the Light Path podcast. I'm really looking forward to continuing to connect with you in this way. I would love to hear your feedback, podcast episode ideas, things that you would like me or a guest to cover, and we'll see what we can do. Love to hear your feedback on the format, just a Monday episode. That would be really interesting to hear how you guys feel about that. Whenever I am featured on somebody else's podcast, I will also let you know in case you want to listen to me over there as well. But for now, happy 2024. Thank you from the bottom of my heart and from the depths of my soul for listening, for walking this journey with me, for shedding so much light on my path. My gosh, you guys have no idea. Sending you so much love and light for the year ahead as we journey together.